Welcome back to the show, everybody. Got a great episode for you today. I'm going to be interviewing Gil Perez-Abraham, who played Officer Martinez in 2022's The Batman. He has also appeared in films such as 2019's The Farewell and 2021's The Killer Among Us, as well as appearing in shows such as The Young Pope, Blue Bloods, Pose, FBI, Orange is the New Black, and The Walking Dead World Beyond. Just wanted to say before I get into anything, my audio wasn't very good during the interview. So you can still hear what I'm saying, but it doesn't sound great. So sorry about that. I'll try to improve it next time. There was an issue with my mic. But just wanted to say that right off the bat. But before I get into the interview, I do want to thank today's sponsor. This episode is sponsored by Audible, which, if you don't know, has a great selection of audiobooks, originals, and podcasts. And right now, if you go to www.audibletrial.com/popculturepodcast, you can get a free 30-day trial of Audible Plus, which lets you listen to a selection of audiobooks, originals, sleep tracks, meditation programs, and podcasts. Or you can get a free 30-day trial of Audible Premium Plus, which gives you all of that from Audible Plus, as well as one free title per month from an extended selection of bestsellers and new releases. And you own those, so that's awesome. So, if you want to go get that 30-day free trial of Audible, that website is www.audibletrial.com/popculturepodcast. Now on with the show.
It's 106 miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it.
Got it.
Go. So how you doing, first and foremost?
I'm doing okay, man. Thanks for having me on. It's been a really, as you can imagine, a very, very, very busy time. And I'm taking a lot of time to reflect right now and just sort of, just kind of rest off the moment. It's a lot of anxiety all around, a lot of anxiety, it's a lot of anxiety shooting, a lot of anxiety leading up to shooting, a lot of anxiety with COVID, and then with shooting during COVID, and then waiting for the premiere, the screenings. It's a lot. And I feel like maybe I'll have PTSD, like Hollywood SD for months to come.
Yeah. I mean, at least you don't have to deal with Will Smith slapping you in front of like a million people, but
gosh,
could always be worse.
I can't say PTSD because it's not that deep, but let's say Hollywood. Let's say Hollywood SD, like HTSD. Yeah.
I mean, I have no experience with it, but
no, it's just like there's a lot of anxiety. It's like you imagine like a role is like a baby, and like I hate that, not even like a baby. A role is just like this thing that's like just so close to you and a part of yourself, and then like. You don't know how it's going to come out, how it fits into the bigger picture. And then, I mean, with this project particularly, I think like everybody was really working their hardest and doing their best. And even during COVID, trying their freaking best. And I think like, I don't know, I think the expectation from all of us was like, wow, it's like we were one of the only things that were able to keep going during COVID. So it's like either we were freaking amazing and like, we had some sort of supernatural energy and got to make a great submission into this like pantheon of universe, or you know what I mean, or there's the fear, like, or you got completely cut out of the movie, or you know what I mean, or like you lost the scenes that were important to you, or I was wondering a lot because I hadn't, my impression of Robert and Batman and all of the cast was that they were amazing, but it's like I was also wondering how are the fans going to react to this new universe, to this new cast, to this new world, to Matt Reeves' idea. When I saw the screening, I got a lot of those kind of questions all dissipated because the movie I thought was very enthralling.
so good. I love it. Yeah. Unfortunately,
it's
I've
a
only
wild
seen
movie.
it twice. Yeah, I want to watch it again really badly.
I want to watch it more too, but I can't. Mm-hmm. It's like I have to forget that I was even in it. Like I feel like I have to keep my mind kind of like humble and quiet, because it's like, I don't know, the movie, the first time I saw it, I was kind of like, I only saw really like parts of it. I haven't really seen the whole movie in its entirety, but like the parts of it that I saw were like the dopest movie I'd seen in the longest time. Like some of the things in that movie are just the crazy visuals. Greg Fraser, Matt Reeves, Dylan Clark, they killed it.
Dare I say, I like it even more than Dark Knight, and that's saying a lot, because that's like one of the greatest superhero movies of all time. That movie is incredible. But this one here, I'm just like, this feels so Batman to me. Like, Batman's a character I care so much about, and like, this feels more like the Arkham games than anything else that we've gotten so far. I'm a huge fan of like the Arkham games, like all the Batman detective stuff. I think that's a really important part of the character, him doing detective work. And so getting more of that in here, I thought it was great. And then you were in a big scene with Batman, where I actually wanted to ask you a question about this, because, and you said you've seen bits and pieces of the movie. Have you seen the scene, and spoiler alert for the movie, but it's been out for like a month. Everybody should watch it by now. But there's a scene where Batman uncovers like all the vans placed around Gotham underneath like the rug or whatever. And you were there for that. Sure. Oh yeah. And you were there for that, and Batman barely said a word. And for you as an actor, you had to like go off of body language alone to be able to know when to say your lines. So is that was that difficult for you to try and say your lines at the right time when you have an actor that isn't saying anything to you?
It's kind of funny, because I learned early on that it's like I had to be making eye contact with Robert / Batman / Bruce Wayne all the time. And on it, it's like, I don't know. I think Robert was deep in his process. So he was so easy to work off of in that way. And because of the way the first scene had kind of gone, and like, I don't know, some things changed. Like the scenes aren't necessarily written the way that they come out. Like there's a lot open to what an actor does. So like, because he acts with like his eyesight mostly and not talking, because he acts with like his viewpoint. That's kind of why I felt in the first scene like I had to put a hand on him, kind of like, because he's just like standing there looking at me, it's like that was the option that was there. So it's like in the final scene, I felt like there was something in me, like, I guess I'm like, I still think about it a lot. There was like something about like the tension that I felt like, I don't know. I felt like it'd be very human to kind of play off of the fact that this, like, to play off of the fact that this dude is like, I don't know, that he's like weird, that he's kind of a freak. Yeah. He's like a weird dude who's not talking. He's like in a costume, and like, I don't know. I felt like in that scene, it's like I had all these lines, and what I felt like I was trying to do is like I was kind of trying to like put him at ease. I was kind of trying to like maybe buddy up a little bit, kind of like maybe like take him out to get a beer after, like talk to him like talk to him like friend to friend, like man, like I don't know about the costume, bro. Like you should just be a cop. Like, you should be a detective. Like there's something like, because he's so young in that journey, and it's so like it's such a new idea to all of us characters in the universe. Like it's such a new idea for Batman to exist. That we like, I think like, at least in my perspective, I'm like what happened, man? Like, why you dressed like that, bro? Like what's the deal? It's like the more he doesn't talk, it's like the part of me's nervous, and part of me's like trying to fill the blanks with more talking. So it's like, I think like they cut around, but I was like, generally, I remember that scene, I was talking a lot. Like I was like, I would like just like say random things. And, like it's like, and he was standing there holding the carpet tool. He was standing there holding it in the light. It's like that second, it seems long in the movie. It might have been like an hour long in shooting. It's like he really is standing there holding that. And it's like, and you're just like, and this, and that, and this, and that.
You're just like, what are you gonna do with that, Batman?
Yeah, there's a lot of elements about this dude, because like you're also kind of looking at kind of like he's he's impossible to predict. So like, what is it? Like, I don't know. It's like, what is he going to do? Is he going to jump out? Like, he's running into crime scenes. Like, I don't know. I feel like ultimately, me and Martinez are both simple dudes, and it's like, for me, it's like I was told to keep the room safe. I'm already messing up because he's in here and he's in here touching all this stuff. But then on top of all of that, there's also that other element of like, man, this dude's kind of weird, but he's kind of cool. Like, like maybe he just needs to chill out a little bit. Like, and then I think like part of me also kind of wanted to arrest him.
Yeah, true. That probably make the most sense.
I know it's funny to say that. Like, I had the instinct to come in like with my gun, with my weapon drawn, and I think I did have kind of like the instinct that like I wanted to try and arrest him. Like that was kind of
right. That's
like
funny.
I think in my mind, like I was kind of thinking like if I could get close to him, like I don't know, like maybe I could mess him up, maybe I could take him in. Like I think like all of those things are playing inside of me in that space, and the more quiet this dude is, the more options arise.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I just gotta compliment you real quick because you really like I gotta say you held your own in like any scene with any big actor, whether it be like Commissioner Gordon or Batman. Like you did such a great job holding your own against those like mega superstar actors with these gigantic roles that are like years old. Yeah, of course. Let me see here. Did you read any Batman comics or anything like that in preparation for the movie, or are you somebody who's like read them over years? Oh, okay. Yeah.
I didn't, and I haven't. It's like so. It's like I feel like when I really became a huge fan of the universe was when I saw kind of what Heath Ledger got up to, rest in peace.
Yeah.
What Christian Bale got up to. Like I felt like that really piqued my interest in a different way.
Oh yeah.
Now what I was a fan of was I actually had a Batman action figure my whole life growing up.
Oh, that's cool.
Like an action figure that was given. It's like a little plush Batman. And then I think, I feel like there's one that I did get recently, and it's I figured out that the Rada website.
Yeah.
And it leads to this.
Oh wow, very cool. That is so cool.
It leads to, I think it was $40, man. It leads to DC Batman, Threat of the Two-Headed Coin. It's number 258, and it's like it's one of the answers on the Rada Alada website that they have up right now. It's like before it got taken over by the GCPD. Like one of the answers was this comic. So I'm trying. I got it, and I haven't even opened it out of superstition, but I think this is going to open. It's weird. I feel like I'm kind of like in reverse order. I'm like I'm starting to want to read the comics now. Like now I'm like I might get obsessed these next couple months.
Yeah, that's kind of me too. I'm not like a huge comic book reader, but been trying to read some more. Like Invincible.
I think I might get obsessed now.
Invincible, but yeah. Long Halloween's a really good one. Really good Batman story. Long Halloween, like a lot of, maybe not a lot, but quite a few elements of the new Batman movie, like take inspiration from Long Halloween. So that's a really popular one. Then probably Year One as well. But
I felt like the background I had that was like really more the world I was in personally was like Clue. I was really inspired by. I was super. I read early on that Matt was inspired by a lot of the like kind of more noir film movie, like crime movies. Like I was super. Like I mean I rewatched all the big Finchers. I rewatched. I was like really getting into a lot of. I was getting into a lot of Bergman, and I was getting into a lot of Kubrick. And I got, and then I did the Clue in Chinatown, just back to back to back. And then there's one more huge inspiration I had, which was In the Heat of the Night.
Okay. Not familiar.
I felt like that. It says Sidney Poitier. You would love it, man. It's really good. If you like Clue or Chinatown, In the Heat of the Night, it's amazing. And it has It has some amazing police characters.
Mhm.
And I don't know, I had already been kind of like going in a deep dive sort of in that direction. And then when I read the script originally, it's like I knew it was something comic related because of the way it was written. Like Matt writes in a very, so he writes in this really beautiful, like colorful way. But I didn't know what it was. What it felt like it was like kind of like a noir crime movie, just like from the sides. And so I immediately, like my big inspirations immediately was I started thinking of those, like I started thinking of Mob City. I started thinking of Sin City. Yeah, I started thinking of like, and the thing is, like, I love kind of like, I also love Hellboy. So it's like I'm really into that kind of like the crime feel, the noir feel. Like I don't know. I feel like it's so, it lends itself to a certain kind of like, now it's what I'm seeing is like like in this comic book, it lends itself to like a kind of character-y level of character that's so, I don't know, ingenuous. I don't know, it's really, really exciting. But anyway, long answer to what is the comic books inspiring to me? No, but this where I did take inspiration from was a lot of crime, a lot of crime, but specifically just like the kind of mental cop films, the mental cop films, like In the Heat of the Night, it's like a mental cop film.
Okay.
I mean, I think the majority of the movie, I think the majority of the movie is like 3 long arguments between Sidney Poitier and I forget his name, but he's an amazing actor. You should peep that one.
Yeah,
I'm giving a podcast recommendation right now.
All right.
In the Heat of the
Night, definitely got to check out more movies like that.
It's a Hal Ashby. Gosh, but I'm trying to remember who was. I think his name's Rod Steiger, maybe. Anyway.
Yeah, you actually answered one of my questions, though. I was wondering how much you knew about the project going into it, and it sounded like you really didn't know a whole lot. You knew that it was like probably a comic book crime movie, but you didn't really know it was Batman. So that's kind of interesting.
I was aware. They made me aware once the second audition came in. Then they made me aware because I was I was contracted to do a play in New York. I was contracted to have my Off-Broadway debut in a 3-person play.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, I'm obsessed with the playwright. So I said no to this. I kind of like said no to the audition originally. And then they came back and said that it was that it was a film and that it was Batman. Like they were more clear.
Yeah.
It's just like at first it was like a lot of gray area, and like I wasn't even sure, like I didn't even have sides. I just had a request for an audition. And I was like, well, what could it be? It's like I wasn't 100% sure what it was going to be. But then once it came in and I got the sides, then I knew. But even then, like I'm kind of like, I don't know. I feel like in my process, I'm a little superstitious because it's like if I let myself think about the fact that it's Batman or that it's like kind of like that level of prestigious film, or if I think about it's Matt Reeves and all that, that stuff kind of clouds my intuition. And so I felt like it was better for me ultimately, like the less I knew, because there's certain things, I guess, just like about me or the way that I act that accidentally fit into the universe. And it's like if I were like to purposely try to be those things, it's like it wouldn't be the same naturally.
Right.
And,
I feel so if I ever got casted as like Spider-Man or something, I'd freak out. Like, oh god.
No,
I don't think I'd be able to keep my cool.
Yeah, and I don't know if I could either. It's like it's like it was like the less I knew was really good for me. And in general, honestly, the less I know always is really, really good for me. And when you're working with someone like Matt Reeves, you can trust that whatever they're going to do with your image is going to be awesome. Like Matt he's just on another level, and he's really pushing us. And I think he had like also like because I think like Robert, for instance, like a lot of his inspirations felt like it was coming from kind of these like Odysseus level. They've spoken about the Cobain influence, I see a lot of kind of like our master actors like present in him. And so I think like Matt had everybody's inspirations kind of like matched up. And I'd be interested to know how many people were kind of like really into the comics or really into the movies and like use that to be able to prepare themselves, and how many people didn't. I'd be interested, for instance, because I feel like Colin Farrell was like amazing, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah. So I mean, I'd be interested to know more about that.
Yeah, I think I heard that Paul Dano, he was like an avid comic book reader. Now he's actually going to be he's going to be writing one.
He wrote
year one.
Right? Yeah.
Very excited for that. I'm very excited. It's super cool.
Me too. That's
because
really
like
cool.
Batman Year One is a really great comic book, and if you're ever like not too into comics, I definitely recommend watching like the DC animated stuff because they literally take like everything from the comics and just put it in movie form, and it's so much easier for me to watch and like actually pay attention to. Because comic books, I only get so much from it, but yeah, I'm like you in the way where it's like I get more of my inspiration from superheroes and stuff like that from movies rather than comic books. But I'm trying to get into comic books a little more here and there.
I want to get more into it because I do love like graphics. Like I grew up on Akira and Gundam and I grew up on a lot of graphics, and I have Mouse over here too.
Okay.
I guess that's controversial. We shouldn't talk about Mouse. But I love graphics, so I don't know why I haven't really gotten into comics. I think honestly, like when I was young, it's like, there was like, I don't know, it's funny, but maybe it's just like culturally, like in like, I never knew, like none of my cousins or me really ever had comics, like not like that. Like we, I don't know, I felt like we were really like always out with like a ball or a bike or a board or something. It's like, it's interesting though, because I feel like I should have gotten into them because I love graphics. Anyway, like I said,
I'm trying to find a certain thing.
Like I said, I got number 258 right here now. So,
yeah, there's a lot of good ones I could always recommend. I'm trying to find one right now.
I got number 258 over here. I got number 431. This one's a sick cover.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, this is sick.
That is really cool. I love it. I love the artwork. Like the artwork's always my favorite part of the comic book.
But see, this one has like, I'm a little superstitious. I don't know if I should read it because supposedly this one has like, people are saying now that this has like that this has the hints of like what the next thing's gonna be, and like everybody.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a lot of people keep asking me. They're like, what's gonna happen with you? What's gonna happen with Martinez? What's gonna happen? And I'm like, I have no idea. You know, it's like
right.
Well, that's part of their thing. It's like they're not gonna tell anybody anything. Like
no.
Like they're look. Matt Reeves is like he's one of those like creative geniuses. He is actually like Batman. Like he's in a basement somewhere right now. Like writing this movie, you know what I mean? Like he's on one of those like on one of those really tactile, tangential like genius moments. I could see it right now. So I don't know. I don't know if I want to read it. Have any tips? Like it's funny.
Right.
We got the evil villain with 3 evil eyes. We got the 3 Racketeers. We got Two-Face, and we got Robin. We got a bunch of people over here.
Yeah, Matt Reeves has expressed interest in doing a more realistic Mr. Freeze. I think that'd be a really interesting.
That'd be really interesting
there.
I just think this universe is crazy. They went crazy. In this universe, and I thought honestly, I thought Joaquin went crazy with Joker universe too.
Oh, yeah.
Like I thought I thought they both, Joaquin, Todd, I thought they went wild too over there.
Yeah.
And you know, it's interesting. I think we're like, I hope that we're seeing in cinema kind of like a comeback to performance oriented cinema, because like I do feel like Batman is like presented as very human, and and everybody was like, I felt like Penguin's presented as very human, and also somehow like superhuman. Like it's a very It's a really really great. I think it definitely feels like, although I definitely just said I don't know much about comics, it feels like what a comic would feel like. Right.
It really does. It really does. It probably feels the most like Gotham ever since like the Tim Burton movies. Like Tim Burton movies, that is Gotham, but here it's like, this actually feels like someplace you can go to, but at the same time you can't go to it because it doesn't exist. But yeah, I mean, I love the take that they did with this new movie. Let me see what other questions I have here. So what kind of films and like TV shows like speak to you most in terms of like a genre, or are you just kind of open to like many different genres?
It's really hard for me to watch stuff. I'm a huge reader. I love reading, and I love like being out and doing stuff. And like my girlfriend and I are both kind of like we're crazy into like kind of like extreme sports. Like we love like aggressive rollerblading, aggressive skiing. Like we're really into like risking it. I don't know why. So then that translates into kind of like a lot of the things that I like to watch. Like I really like I love Ingmar Bergman.
Yeah.
My girlfriend got me obsessed with Bergman over the last years, and like I love Bergman. I love Jarmusch. Like a recent movie that I'm like super excited about is Come On, Come On.
Okay.
Nothing
I'm too familiar with, to be honest, but
you said he's nothing I'm too familiar. There's one movie I would recommend that there's this movie called Summer with Monica by Ingmar Bergman. It's like a really good kind of like romance, kind of a romance. And I don't know, I don't want to spoil it too much. Anybody who's listening who has seen it, be like, romance, I don't know.
I don't mind romance movies. I'll watch anything really. But
you know, like out of the more modern stuff, like I really want to get into the Card Counter with Oscar Isaac.
Oh yeah. I started watching that. I never finished it, but I need to get back to that.
And like as a young person, I mean, as like I love Drive. I loved Place Beyond the Pines.
Oh yeah.
And as like a younger person, when I was like in the 90s, I loved Dead Poet Society. I loved Good Will Hunting. But I also, you know, I think one of the best, I mean, for me, like Requiem for a Dreams, like so inspiring. I think like that, like, oh man, I love Requiem for a Dream. I always, like I said earlier, the Fincher projects are pretty crazy. You know what? I'm like TV shows have always been more difficult for me, but I mean, Sopranos is like I think.
Oh yeah.
I think Sopranos is great, and I mean, I liked this. You know, it's like it's sad what happened with Mr. Spacey, but I loved House of Cards, and it's like I thought Beau Willimon, David Fincher's work on that show was like incredible. Jodie Foster's work and all those episodes she directed was incredible. Like, I mean, I think it's okay to say it, even though Kevin Spacey's like obviously canceled. I think it's okay to say that the rest of the cast, I mean, like was incredible. And we saw the start of some of the most exciting acting careers today in that show.
Oh yeah.
Like
for sure.
Rachel Brosnahan, Mahershala Ali, our man Michael Kelly, like I was just thinking about Doug Stamper, and I was sitting there thinking like, dude, what actor has been more intense than Michael Kelly? Like he was terrifying, and he shouldn't. I don't know why. It's like he's not like a huge dude or
right.
Like, it's like he just had this look on him. Like he was like, I don't know. He was very great in that show. And I feel like that show had a lot of great characters.
It's all about the demeanor. All about how you present yourself.
Of course, man.
Let me see here.
Can I take a quick? Do you mind if I take a quick?
Oh yeah, not at all.
My manager's
calling.
Just 1 second.
Oh yeah, you're fine. You know how it is. But yeah, one thing I did want to say, I don't know how well you can see, but this comic book here, amazing. Okay. I think all the art's done with like pen. I'm pretty sure, like pen and pencil.
Can you send me that in an email?
Yeah, I will. It's by Brian Azzarello, I believe. But I recently read that. It's a pretty good book. I love the artwork on it. But
I'll read that.
Yeah, there's a lot of good like Batman comics and stuff out there, but I would also really recommend those animated movies. Like Batman Year One's really good. Trying to think. I think Bryan Cranston actually does the voice of Commissioner Gordon for that one, which I would love to see either Bryan Cranston or like Giancarlo Esposito as a Mr. Freeze for like the next Batman movie. I think that would be really cool.
Those are crazy calls. Those are crazy call outs.
Oh yeah, I love Giancarlo Esposito. He plays an amazing villain for sure. But I would love to know like who would you like to see as the villain for the next Batman movie if you had to choose anybody?
Gosh, man, I haven't even thought about it. But now that you said those two, those are some great options. Yep. You know, That's crazy.
I would also love to see Scarecrow again. I think Scarecrow hasn't gotten enough love on the big screen. So that's a good character too.
Scarecrow could be wild.
Yeah, especially with Matt Reeves directing a like that villain. That'd be insane.
Man, what villains? Like, I don't know. I feel like there's so many. Like, they introduced Joker. Like, I don't know. They got a lot of folks. I don't know who I want to see. I feel like I'm responding as my character right now. Like, I want to see I want to see no more villains. Like, the city needs to see no more villains. Like, like we need more.
Unfortunately, there are too many.
Like the next Batman movie needs to be about like the city going well, the city being well, the police. Like, there's a movie about a nice family doing nice things.
It's just like a 3-hour film where nothing bad happens to anybody. I would love that.
Just like nice Gotham. You know, imagine being a citizen of that place, man.
Oh yeah, that'd be awful. I wouldn't live there.
No,
it's like it's like living in a GTA city. It's like you don't want any kids there. It's awful.
I was even thinking,
but it's amazing.
Like that guy, the guy that robs the grocery store at the beginning. The deli. I was like, man, like a man can't even get an honest robbery off in Gotham.
Right.
He saw the light and he freaked out. He almost got over. Like,
I always thought that was so funny. They're all just freaking out, and it's just like he's not even there. He's looking in the shadows. He's like, I don't even know what's in there. He's like, I don't want to know. I'm just running away.
Of course.
Man, when Batman first shows up in that movie, he makes a mark for sure. It's insane. But let me see what other questions I have for you. I think you've already kind of answered this one. If you're allowed to say, have you been asked to return for any like sequels or spinoffs, like I think 2 or 3 spinoff series that are coming out now?
I don't know. Well, let's see.
Yeah, I'm sure. Like, I'm sure if you were asked to be back, you probably couldn't even say anything about it. But
no, you know. I probably couldn't. But look, also though, like Martinez, you know, I feel like could have lived just once in the movie. Like, I just don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there's like a Gotham Police Department or something like that kind of series coming out from what I heard. So, I mean, there's definitely room for you to show up. But before I leave you here, here's a controversial one. If you can say it without getting in trouble, Marvel or DC?
DC.
Oh yeah, I have to say Marvel personally. They have, in my opinion, the better movies, but I like the DC characters the most, I think. I don't know. Man of Steel is a really good movie. That's like one of my favorite ones.
Dang, you know what's crazy though? It's like I'm kind of thinking, you know, there's some standouts here. Like Iron Man is crazy.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Iron Man's insane. Iron Man 1 is insane.
Yeah. And it started everything. Like, I don't even think we would have what we have today with even DC if Marvel didn't set the stage for these movies.
It's interesting. Well, there's something nice. There's something, I don't know, there's something about the way Marvel's like integrated themselves into like the fanhood that it's inspired is kind of interesting, because it's like it is really, really fun, right? And that's like what this at the end of the day, that's like what a lot of this is all about. It's like the fun of it, the inspiration, like leaving the theater like I don't know, inspired and elated and ready for the next one. And like I feel like they have kind of like they found a way to make all of those things happen.
Pretty much, for sure.
Pretty much every time.
Yeah.
The thing I like about DC is I feel like they're taking these dark stabs, like trying to like they're like, one, maybe that's just like the nature of it, right? It's like they're trying to. I don't even think it's like the opposite, but in a way, it's a foil. Like they're trying to, like the balance they're looking for is that they're like, I don't know, like they're broody, they're grungy, they're but I'm thinking about, you know, it's like I feel like in the earlier ones, like we had kind of like call out to old Hollywood, like and they were oftentimes like comedic and like like I wonder like what the through line has been there that I like so much. Maybe it's just that I do ultimately, without having loved the comics, I did. If I were to be asked like what was my favorite superhero growing up, I would say Batman. So maybe that's why my answer is DC. I feel like I did always, no matter what, always think Batman was badass because Batman's not really like super.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, so I always thought I was like, dude, yeah, Batman's kind of dope. You know, it's like, I kind of think of like Christian Bale training with Liam Neeson.
It's like what Ben Affleck said in Justice League. It's like, what's your superpower again? I'm rich. That's pretty much it. Yeah.
How many people is Liam Neeson trained, by the way?
What's that?
How many people is Liam Neeson trained? He's always everybody's mentor.
Yeah. That and like Jackie Chan too. I feel like he's trained so many people.
Yeah, always like the trainers, like the master that can impart try to impart some wisdom on their stubborn mentee.
Yeah.
All right, man.
Well, one thing I will leave you with here the real question I have for you. Do you have any upcoming projects you want to talk about? Or
I guess I just
plug like your social media, really anything. I'm down.
My social is Gil Perez-Abraham, just my name. And I mean, look, I guess we're gonna wrap up this thing. I'm gonna go do this. I'm gonna go do a film, and it's like a young coming of age movie. It's with a really good team. The director producer is a man named Ben Cohen, who's done a couple really good projects you can check out. One of them is Superior, that was at Sundance this last year, and it's actually playing in LA right now.
Nice.
But he's got a couple other Sundance projects that are really good too.
Okay, very nice. And also, I like your longboard in the background.
Thanks, dude.
Very nice.
Oh man, I've seen some bad falls off that thing.
Yeah, I haven't been longboarding in like a year. I live in Michigan, so the weather is not good for it most of the time. We have like potholes, snow, like half the year feels like. So can't get out and do it too much, but I try to do it when I can. Yeah, I got to get some new trucks for mine. But yeah, I want to thank you for coming on the podcast and answering a bunch of questions. I'm sure you're kind of sick of talking about Batman at this point, but
nah, man, it's cool. I'm proud, man. You know.
Yeah, I mean, you did a great job.
It's dying down slowly but surely, and I'm recovering a little bit. Like it's
right.
It is wild being in like the biggest movie of the year. So.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on, and definitely go give Gil a follow over on Instagram. And I'll see you guys in the next one.